Hey, welcome back to my blog. This is number 94 and it's called Flamboyant and Flawed. And by the way, I am in my active wear since 7 a.m. Had every intention of getting out early this morning, but between one thing and another, it just hasn't happened yet. That's why I haven't changed, because I am going to make it happen. But I better get on with this recording because my son is due home any minute now and he is going to be getting on his drum kit to do some practice. So I will lose my opportunity if I don't get a wiggle on. Anyway, I would like to think that you're all doing okay, managing as best you can in the way that only you know how. And that's kind of what it's all about, really. So off to a great start. On a happy note, and off to a great start, I'm marking 4.5 years, as I wrote this morning, since the first day of my sober life. It's a milestone and one that needs to be marked to ensure that I don't ever become complacent about my life and about the changes that have happened. It's not so much in a material way that my life has changed, but more in my body, mind, and soul. Oh, okay, I have published 93 blogs. I've had my work published in newspapers. I've been on radio inspiring others to find their own power through bearing my soul. And then there are the many connections that I forged with like-minded seekers in the past 1,645 days. But the most important aspect of my sober life is the shift that's taken place in my thinking and in my heart. I have learned the secret to a happy life. It is so simple and was staring at me straight in the face since I first attended a meditation workshop in London back in the early 90s. I just wasn't ready back then. Bound by a force. I had an incredible experience on Saturday just gone. You will know, if you follow my blog regularly, that I am privileged to sing with the most awesome of choirs. I am a proud ally and member of the Perth Pride Choir, with whom I get to be as flamboyant and as flawed as I care to be, without fear of judgment. It's the month of Pride here in Perth, Western Australia. So we were invited to perform as part of a ceremony to mark Pride Fest 2023 at the magnificent St. George's Cathedral in the heart of the city. There's something overwhelmingly beautiful about churches and cathedrals. I sang my heart out with my wonderful tribe. The acoustics and high ceilings make the whole experience of choir singing absolutely captivating and deeply moving. One of our songs was There's a Place for Us by Carrie Underwood. When we got to the line, when these broken hands are whole again, I felt shivers run down my spine and tears prick my eyes as our voices reached for the high notes. We neared the end with the line, exactly who we are, it's just enough. And I could feel the communal energy lifting us to a place that transcended all our pain. In that moment, we were bound together by a force that was stronger than any of us alone. It was magical and life-affirming. Celebration and solidarity. It was the first time that such an event took place in the Anglican Cathedral and was an attempt to reconcile the harm caused by discrimination and persecution of the LGBTQIA+ community by religious organisations over the years. It was positioned as an evening of coming together in celebration and solidarity for people in faith with the LGBTQIA+ community. It's hard to imagine how challenging it must have been for some of our choir members to set foot in a place that never previously felt safe to them, and understandably some of our choir members chose to stay away. Those who did join in, though, showed enormous courage in doing so. I could tell that there were some eye-rolling going on during certain moments, especially when some of the Bible readings made little sense and didn't resonate at all. I must admit that I do find the language archaic and hard to understand at times. I think it's about time that a more fathomable language be adopted if the churches want their teachings to resonate with the masses. That said, a reverend did read something utterly fathomable, which resonated like an electric shock that bolted through me. It is a poem by someone I had never heard of until then, but I am thrilled to have discovered him. Turns out that the poet Pádraig Ó Tuama also hails from Cork, and I would imagine has, as a gay man, suffered at the hands of the church. I am sharing this poignant poem with you today as it is very moving for its authenticity and for how it captures the messiness of what it is to be human. So here goes. I really hope I do it justice. I would much prefer if Pádraig would read it for me, but I wouldn't be so lucky. In the name. In the name of goodness, of love, and of broken community. In the name of meaning, of feeling, and I hope you don't screw me. In the name of darkness and light and ungraspable twilight. In the name of mealtimes and sharing and caring by firelight. In the name of action, of peace and human redemption. In the name of eating, of drinking, and table confession. In the name of sadness, regret, and holy obsession. In the holy name of anger, the spirit of aggression. In the name of forgive and forget, and I hope I get over this. In the name of Father and Son and unholy spirits. In the name of beauty and broken and beaten up daily. In the name of seeing our creeds and believing in maybe. We gather here, a room full of strangers, and speak of our hope land and talk of our danger, to make sense of our thinking, to authenticate lives, to humanize feeling and stop telling lies. In the name of philosophy, of theology, and who gives a damn? In the name of employment and study and finding new family. In the name of our passions, our lovings, and indecent obsessions. In the name of prayer, of worship, and demon possession. In the name of solitude, of quiet and holy reflection. In the name of lost, the lonely and without direction. In the name of the early and the late and the wholly ineffectual. In the name of the straight and the queer, transgender and bisexual. In the name of boot clogs and boob jobs and erectile dysfunction. In the name of schizophrenia, hysteria and obsessive compulsion. In the name of Jesus and Mary and the mostly silent Joseph. In the name of speaking to ourselves, saying, this is more than I can cope with. In the name of touch-up and break-up and of breakdown and weeping. In the name of therapy and Prozac and of full-hearted breathing. In the name of sadness and madness and years since I've smiled. In the name of the unknown, the alien, and of the holy in exile. In the name of the named and the unnamed and the names of the nameless. In the name of the prayers that repeat, I wish I could change this. In the name of goodness and kindness and intentionality. In the name of harbour and shelter and family. So that's by Pádraig Ó Tuama. Go to his website, pádraigotuama.com, if you'd like to read more of his amazing poetry. Thank you, Pádraig, if you ever get to watch this. Spiritual, not religious. Look, as I've stated before, I don't consider myself a religious person, but I am definitely deeply spiritual. I still have issues with the way organised religion uses its power over people. It's sad because I'm sure that if Jesus were among us, we would love him and all that he stands for. If we could stop for a moment and think about him as a real person who wanted us all to realise that within us, we each have our own power, our own truth, to know that the power of the universe, also known as God to many, is within us, and that we are filled with the light of consciousness, and that we are one with the power of creation, we would feel less hopeless about our lives. We spend far too much of our energy looking outwards to people to guide us, people who are not awake to the goodness within them, and so they're driven by their egos. Fear and insufficiency. Have you ever considered that the people who are most influential in this world, the people with the loudest voices, people who seem full of confidence and appear mega powerful, might actually be operating in this way because of fear and insufficiency. The bigger the ego, the deeper the fear they carry within them of being inferior. Hence their drive to prove themselves superior. The ego thrives on comparison, always wanting to be better than others. What a horrible way to exist. They are not aware of this, though. They are not living in an awakened state. So let us not be fooled by them. With self-awareness, we can become more discerning about where we want our energy to go, where we want to focus our hearts and minds. We are not how much money, power, or popularity we have. We are much greater than that. Through stilling the mind and body, we get to connect with the true self, the powerful self that is the light of the world and which is connected to the power of life itself. Dulled the senses. During my drinking and dope smoking days, I was unable to connect to the deeper part of myself because I dulled the sense within me that enables it to thrive. The power of presence seemed far too airy-fairy, as though it had no real meaning to it. But you could say the same about love. Both these concepts seem idealistic, yet when we embrace them, we find meaning beyond our wildest dreams. If you're still with me, thank you. I know it's been a long one. I am hopeful that you too can find this sense of freedom within you. I know from experience that you have to be ready before you can be open to it. All in good time. I wish you stillness of mind, harmony of body, and peace of heart. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Love to you all.